the way that we talk about this is, real easy. Look, two things you can't screw up in any deal. ARV, after repair value, that what that house is going to be worth when you're going to sell it, to the retail public on the MLS. Okay. So ARV, and the other part, repair costs. Here we go. Maca-dang-dang. All right. First podcast. This is Beard and No Beard. Yes, I have my own bobblehead. That is from another mastermind group. But hey, we are doing our first podcast here. So no idea what we're doing, how to do it. I hit the record button. So we're on. So my name is Matt Hedstrom. Welcome, everybody. We will update and upgrade as we go along with better equipment, better sound, better video, blah, blah, blah. For now, we're using the MacBook and the Yeti microphone next to me. And I have with me Scott Kruzmark.
Yep, Scott Kruzmark. Been an investor since 2002, and I'm using a Windows-based machine with its basic camera. Too bad.
All right. Well, my camera is obviously much better to start out with.
Yeah.
But all right. So anyway, we'll keep this short, sweet, to the point. We'll get in, as this is our first episode. We might be the only ones we reach, Scott. So let's get into a topic today that involves both of us and why we're here, why we're together. So, which is REP, all things REP, Rehab Estimator Pro. It's right. Been how long, man? How long are we in this?
Two and a half years. Well, it's been since you approached me and said, "Hey, let's put this thing together." Mm-hmm. It's been almost 3 years now, okay. And took about 6 months to put the basic system together, and then so we've been running about 2.5 years now, and we're making great headway.
Yeah,
and,
2.5. I'm getting I can hear myself in there. I don't know what the feedback is, but I don't know.
I'm not hearing it, so.
Okay. So first off, Rehab Estimator Pro, for those who have never heard, this is the ultimate software tool, that the only one of its kind in all 50 states. We have over 200 users with, we're just starting to market now. I mean, we've been organically promoting ourselves, but let me give the basic elevator speech, and then we'll go into kind of, what happened, how this took place as we move along. But so my basic elevator speech, which I just pitched yesterday to EXP, which was really cool, because getting in front of possibility of 36,000 agents that the iBuyer program, they are.
Yeah, that'd be a little more than 200.
Right. Yeah, that would be real nice, Scott. Huh? But so as I described this, I'll let you know kind of EXP's response to this, because it was pretty coal. But I don't think we've really debriefed on that one. But so basically the thing is, I started with software. I think it was HammerPoint, RealFlow maybe had it for a while in the short sale business that I was doing. And it created a real nice, quick scope of work, put your cost in there, and you had a nice, estimate of repair cost for a short sale that we were working on as we presented to the BPO agent for appraisal, basically. And so that system broke, crashed. They took it down for quite a while. And so I saw the hole there that, okay, wait a second. Is there anything else out there that allows us to quickly and very accurately estimate repairs so we don't look like clowns, okay? And so being that I've been a contractor for over 20 years, licensed general contractor in several states, I laugh at systems, I mock systems, that say they can do this stuff. And so really the challenge became, hey, how is it possible? Can I create a system that can accurately estimate repair costs without any knowledge, that I have, bringing that to the table, and get it done where you can walk through a house in less than 13 minutes without a tape measure and come back with a number that everybody trusts. Wholesalers, flippers, the investors on the back end, the private money lenders are trusting, numbers. Is that possible? And so, do you think it's possible, Scott?
Oh yeah, we did it.
We did it. We did. I love it. So then, so it became, there was a time it was a mastermind group, and I mentioned this to my mastermind group and said, man, this is what I'd like to do. What do you guys think? And Scott's over there. I think you approached me after that turn maybe, and was
something like that. Yeah.
hey man, I got you. Let's go. So
Yep.
that's kind of how that started, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know the software side, but I barely know the numbers.
Right.
But you know the numbers.
Right. So I'm pitching this idea. You're a guy sitting in the room going, hey, well, I can get this done. And so I think the next thing you did, you said, hey, I've created all these wireframes, if you want to look at it. And I said, I'm sorry, what's a wireframe?
Yeah, what's a wireframe?
So what is a wireframe? Can you define that?
Yeah, it's just the screens in simplistic form so you can show the flow.
Okay, perfect. Love it. And that's all I needed, because I'm the visionary guy. I see things from a real high level and say, hey, this is what I want. And so you were able to come and say, hey, look, here's all these pretty pictures. And I went, ooh, I like that. So make it work, Scott. Make it work.
Yeah.
So in essence, yes, we have developed the only software of its kind in the United States of America and the world, I would imagine, at this point, that will accurately estimate repairs with the click of a button. Just check boxes. It'll also now you've got it running comps on the front end, pulling square footage out of the house, comparing, you can run your own comps. We can do cash on cash returns with rentals, do seller net sheets, give offers of subject to, deals. So seller finance. I mean, it's very robust in that way, but we've never deviated from our core, and we're not going to develop this massive CRM that everybody claims does everything, right? We don't care. We're not going to do ringless voicemail, and we're not going to, scrub your leads and list stacking and SMS blast. We're not, none of that. That's a CRM. We're on the front end. Help you take down the deal and put out a cash offer right from our system, right?
Right.
So tell me, Scott, tell me about the process, because this is gonna be our intro, and this is gonna be the guts. All right. So what after that, the wireframes, what was that development? What did that look like on that end? Because I'm completely detached at this point.
Right. So I took the wireframes and I did all that design work to figure out what the flow was and what pieces need to be where, and what all the admin functions were and all that stuff that's programmer logic. Mm-hmm. And approached a company in I think they were in Pakistan. I never actually did know for sure.
Really?
Yeah. And they put together the system for us, and I worked with them for 6-7 months to try to get this thing going. They weren't the best programmers out there, so I would say, hey, this isn't working the way I want it to, and they'd come back and say, okay, well, okay, fine, how's it look like this? And eventually they reached something that was workable. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty workable. And so then, being a programmer myself, I took it over and said, well, let's make it workable. And so within a few months of the beginning, we got to the point where it was stable and had a lot of functionality. And pretty much we've been going since then. I make tweaks every so often as people discover features that are, like, it'd be really nice if blah, blah, blah. And I go, oh yeah, that's a really cool idea.
Yep.
So it's keeps getting better. We've added some things recently that make it even more usable, and a couple of things in development.
Sometimes I go over my my old, my whole folder and notes, and I remember, man, way back, this dream list, kind of that I wrote, and there's still some things on there that we're going to go after, but it was always, me coming to you and, hey, Scott, let's do this. Hey, Scott, can you make it do this? Not that I still don't do that, because I do, but it's,
you'd still do.
We're not in the full, development stage of this thing. So,
right.
Man, some pain points I remember along the way were the very beginning, where I think you had interviewed like 30 different companies from this, I think it was Upwork at first. And so pinpointing it. And then as I started to understand the development side and talking with other software, because, I'm in the software business now. So as I started talking to others out there that have developed
whether you like it or not.
Right. That's how it is. So, but man, everybody seems to have taken that same path, and that I love that, they go through those same pain points. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we had apps, and that was the thing. We had Apple and we had Android and we had our web version. And so what we ended up doing for over a year was taking all the money that came in, we would dump it right back into recycle it right back into development and we eventually dumped that because, man, as I started to understand, you've got a guy like you that says, let's say I were to come to you and say, hey, I want you to do this for me, Scott. And you go, okay, great. I'll develop the team, and then you go out and develop the team where now you've got these coders, programmers, and one guy does web code, one guy does Apple code, and one guy does Android code. You don't get one guy that says, here, I'll just make them all look pretty and the same.
Oh, and they don't talk to each other.
Right. And they don't talk to each other. You're just like the general contractor, working with teams, and so then you come and say, oh, hey, we updated the web to do all this. So here, you make it work and you make it work. And then, and then I would come back and go, dude, none of this looks the same. Like it's not working. Like it,
and it didn't work either. That was the other thing. It was buggy as all get out.
Right. So,
I mean, you put in, I don't know how many times I put in a property address and the program would the app would just simply close.
Right. Yeah. 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 So getting it to work and all at some point we finally just said, okay, we can count the cost. I really don't care what we've spent on these, but we're dumping the apps. There's no need.
Yeah. Oh, that was a hard decision too.
It was after all that money, but still, are we going to keep throwing things down this hole? Okay, the money down this hole, or do we really need it? Like nobody else's software is on an app other than, unless it's been like a driving for dollars, app, something that was specifically made. Hey, you're going to be in the car on your phone. This is what it is.
I mean, I love the concept because, I mean, like one of the features that as an investor, I really miss is if I go into the basement and lose my internet connection, that thing shuts down. It becomes unusable. Then I have to go back upstairs and get my internet back and everything's fine. But, I'd like to be able to say, oh, well, let it work offline, but it doesn't at this point.
And hey, you know what, we'll be there, at some point we will either, we'll have something, we'll be able to invest in that side. But right now we're very concerned about, our
well, it works. That's the main thing.
Right. It works great. And to continue to make sure that, what we've got is updated because we constantly do updates to the system. So,
right.
So that part is fantastic. So it's interesting because even with, most systems out there, nobody has cracked this. Nobody has done this like we have. Everybody has, maybe they have this massive database, thousands of line items, but they want you to go in and put all the pricing in so that you can come up with a number. Doesn't work. You can't take newbies or even experienced people. Nobody's going to sit down and care about how much per linear foot crown molding is. Okay.
Right.
It's just, it's absolutely a waste of your time. We're not remodeling contractors in that sense where we're selling retail jobs.
Right.
We know things can only cost so much because we can only put so much money into this, right?
Right.
That's why we hire C contractors for our flips because we can't afford the retail A contractors. Okay.
Right. Well, and two, you go into a house as an investor, whether you're a newbie or an experienced person, and you make your best guess.
Yeah.
And you look at a house and go, okay, so I need to replace the kitchen, or I don't need to replace the kitchen. And then when you get to the point where you're actually looking at the kitchen and, as a contractor, you open up a wall and it's full of bees.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, it's going to be an estimate anyway.
Yep. And that's so true, especially when you're doing these full. So our system will literally bring you to the finish line to actually take down that deal and have a very accurate number. And and have it within minutes, so we'll talk much more about this, different features and things. And we've got people blasting us out there, on podcasts that I get on all the time. And so we explain it in many different ways. And that's really not the purpose, what we'll do here. But I do want to end with this and show, that like EXP yesterday, it was great because I'm pitching to the head of the entire iBuyer division. Okay. And it was through a friend of ours that is a private funder. And, he brought me right in because they're picking us two as the two iBuyers in Wisconsin. Right. And so he just says, hey, why don't you join this call, and just talk about your system that, I use with all my borrowers, and because you might want to hear about it. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So I was on my way to a meeting. And sure enough, I lay this out and, she stops me and says, okay, done. I don't need to hear anymore. Like sold. Like this is the one thing that we are absolutely missing. the one thing that will put us ahead of every single out of every brokerage that's been trying to crack this code.
Oh yeah.
This is the part that nobody understands and we can't teach our agents. So if you've made it that easy, we want it. And we need to talk to the big boys now, at EXP at the very top and say, look, this problem has been solved. We can now train our agents, and they don't even need to.
Right.
The training is just how to use the tool. So, so interesting because the way that we talk about this is, real easy. Look, 2 things you can't screw up in any deal. ARV, after repair value, what that house is going to be worth when you're going to sell it, to the retail public on the MLS. Okay. So ARV and the other part, repair costs. Okay. So why do we have one standard in the entire country called the MLS? It is the only standard. Don't argue with me on it. Okay. A bank is not going to accept Redfin comps. They're not. Okay?
Or Zillow or Trulia or
right. Trulia. Right. So it's not, it's not acceptable. The appraiser will use the MLS only. So why, when it comes to repair costs, do we all we're okay with saying, it's 30 grand probably, or it's 20 bucks a square foot. That's a good number. Just use that.
Yeah. That's it.
Every house is the same. Every house needs the same repairs. It's fine. They're all built the same, right? So this has done it. And so when they came and said, look, we know how to teach our agents ARV, no problem. Number one, when you're teaching, with this iBuyer program, you're bringing agents and investors together. So you're bringing new, they don't know what ARV is, it's comps. Oh, okay, I get it. We know how to do that. Great. Now here, tell me what the repair costs are so we can go send all these deals out to all these investors. Blah,
blah, blah.
Right. So we've solved it. I love it, man. I love it. So, well, awesome. Well, I think this was a great first exposure, to get both of us on the team here, on our very first podcast. We roll this out and we're going to be talking about all kinds of things. I mean, especially like I said, I had a problem with my short sale business, solved it with this, and then decided, hey, let's release this to the world because this is a tool that everybody can use. So we'll talk about it with private money. We'll talk about it with, like I said, with the short sales. We'll talk about it with wholesalers. But it's gonna be fantastic. We'll be talking about all things life and real estate, and as we move forward here. So, all right. Any last words?
No.
Good.
Good product, easy to use, and a lot of flexibility, a lot of features that we haven't talked about.
Right.
Discover them along the way.
I get it, man. Love it. Awesome. Well, we'll see everybody on the next one. Thanks for joining us.